Hey guys, Miss Cote here, and this is the first video in the heredity unit. In the last unit, we took a look at mitosis, where a parent cell will divide into two genetically identical daughter cells. In this episode, we're going to start looking at the second type of cell division called meiosis, and the role it plays in sexual reproduction. So let's get started. I know we haven't started genetics yet, coming soon, next chapter, but in studying meiosis, we'll be looking at how chromosomes pass from parents to offspring. Remember, chromosomes are made up of DNA and proteins, and DNA is made up of genes, which are the units of inheritance. If you don't remember from honors biology, meiosis is a special type of cell division where the nucleus is divided twice. The end result is 4 cells, each now containing half the number of chromosomes as what the parent cells started with. So for humans, remember we have 46 chromosomes in our somatic or body cells. So after meiosis, each new cell will have 23 chromosomes. This is how humans make their gametes, the sperm and egg cells. This is very important because between meiosis and fertilization, which is the fusion of the sperm and egg nuclei, the new individual will end up with 46 chromosomes, which is what a human is supposed to have. So in discussing meiosis, we're focusing on sexual reproduction, where 2 parents are required to produce an offspring. Each of the parents contributes a gamete, either a sperm or an egg, with half the number of chromosomes. The end result is an offspring where half of the chromosomes come from dad and half of the chromosomes come from mom. The new individual does not look exactly like dad or exactly like mom. He or she is a unique mixture of the two. In asexual reproduction, only one parent is needed, and the offspring will be genetically identical to the parent. We'll go over methods of asexual and sexual reproduction in more detail in a future video, but right now we're just looking at what's going on with the chromosomes. To review a little about human chromosomes, you need to know that humans have 46 chromosomes, and those chromosomes are organized into 23 pairs. The 2 chromosomes in each pair consist of one from mom and one from dad, and together they're referred to as homologous chromosomes. These homologous chromosomes are the same size and shape and have the same genes on them in the same locations. But please note that homologous chromosomes are not necessarily identical. I know we haven't gotten to genetics yet, but maybe you remember that mom and dad can carry alleles that are different from each other. For example, mom can have a big A while dad can have a little a. And we can see what these chromosomes look like through a karyotype. It's a visual display where the chromosomes are ordered into their homologous pairs. See, the 2 chromosomes in each pair are the same size, shape, and have the same banding pattern. Understand that the chromosomes don't just magically line up for the picture. The original picture has the chromosomes scattered all over the place and in no particular order. And a scientist has to take each individual chromosome and arrange them into the nice organized karyotype you see on the right side of the slide. So let's just look at the finished karyotype. One of the things you can find out from a karyotype would be the sex of the individual. This is done by looking at pair number 23, which are the sex chromosomes. Here, this individual has an X and a Y chromosome, which means this person is a male. Females have 2 X chromosomes, and the remaining 22 pairs of chromosomes are called autosomes. A karyotype is also good for seeing if an individual has an extra or a missing chromosome. For example, a person with Down syndrome would have 3 copies of chromosome 21. So while we're looking at this karyotype, let's go over a couple more vocabulary words you should be familiar with. To recap, a human has 46 chromosomes organized into 23 pairs. Within each pair, one chromosome came from mom and the other chromosome came from dad. In total, there's 23 in mom's set and 23 in dad's set. The number of sets of chromosomes is referred to as ploidy. So a cell containing 2 sets of chromosomes, both mom's and dad's, is called diploid, or 2N, with di meaning 2, which in the case of humans is 46 chromosomes. So it can be also written as 2N equals 46. Having only one set of chromosomes, 23 chromosomes for humans, is called haploid, or just N. So in humans, N is equal to 23. One set would be made up of 22 autosomes and one sex chromosome. And this only occurs in our gametes, egg or sperm. An egg would only carry an X chromosome since females only have X's. Sperm could have either an X or a Y as their sex chromosome. This is a representation of the human life cycle, a generation-to-generation sequence of stages in the reproductive history of an organism. Here we have a male and a female, each with a diploid number of chromosomes, 46 chromosomes. And at sexual maturity, the gonads, ovaries or testes, depending on whether you're male or female or male, will produce the haploid gametes, eggs or sperm, again depending on whether you're female or male. These gametes are the only cells in our body that are made through the process of meiosis. Why is meiosis important? For one, it maintains the chromosome number for a species. Eggs and sperm are made through meiosis, and this halves the chromosome number to 23. So at fertilization, when an egg nucleus and a sperm nucleus come together, this ensures that the very first cell, called the zygote, will have 46 chromosomes, which is the normal number of chromosomes for a human. And this zygote will undergo lots of mitosis to eventually develop into a human, and the cycle continues. That was just one example of a variety of sexual life cycles, an alternation of meiosis and fertilization to produce new individuals. Since humans are animals, the human life cycle that we just looked at can be more simply represented as this animal life cycle. Once again, the majority of the time an animal, which is multicellular, is in the diploid stage. The only time an animal cell is haploid is to make a unicellular gamete for fertilization. Unfortunately for you guys, there are two other sexual life cycles that you probably should be familiar with. Here's the life cycle of plants and some algae. Plants are a little different because as a multicellular organism, they can be either diploid or haploid, and this is called alternation of generations. The diploid organism is a sporophyte. Note, anything that ends in phyte, P-H-Y-T-E, refers to a plant, and it can make haploid spores through meiosis. These spores can grow into multicellular organisms called gametophytes, and since they're already haploid, gametophytes can make gametes simply through mitosis. And when two gametes come together, this produces a diploid zygote that will eventually develop into a multicellular sporophyte, and the cycle will go around again. The third sexual life cycle is representative of fungi and some protists. These organisms spend most of their life cycle in a haploid state. Gametes are made through mitosis, since they're already haploid, and two gametes can unite to create a diploid zygote. The zygote will then undergo meiosis to create a haploid organism, which then can divide by mitosis to form a multicellular haploid organism. So to wrap things up, whatever the life cycle, while either type of cell can undergo mitosis, it's only the diploid cells that go through meiosis to become haploid. And these alternating stages of organisms having diploid and haploid sets of chromosomes is one factor that contributes to creating genetic variation in offspring. Why you don't look exactly like mom or exactly like dad. You are a unique mixture of the two, and that's why sexual reproduction is important for maintaining genetic variation in a population. And that's where I'm going to end this video. The next video will go through the stages of meiosis, the similarities and differences between meiosis and mitosis, and how meiosis contributes to genetic variation. So until the next time I see you, be a good human.